I'm Sophie, 28 years old, and I can still feel the chill of that October evening in our small Indiana town, the kind where the air smells like fallen leaves and the streetlights cast a hazy glow through the fog. I was in our apartment, the living room lit by a flickering candle, when I found the email that shattered everything I thought I knew about my boyfriend, Ryan. He'd been lying about his job for months, spinning tales of being a big-shot marketing exec while he was just a temp scraping by. The betrayal cut deep, but what I did, exposing him to his boss, calm and legal, made sure he faced the truth. This is my story of hurt, anger, and getting even, told from my heart, right here in front of you. Ryan and I met 2 years ago at a county fair in Jasper, Indiana. It was a warm July night, the fairgrounds buzzing with kids laughing, and the smell of popcorn and cotton candy. I was there with friends, sipping lemonade, when he bumped into me near the Ferris wheel, his shy smile catching me off guard. He was 30, tall with sandy hair and glasses that made him look smarter than he was. He said he worked in marketing for a big firm in Evansville, handling campaigns for national brands. I'm a librarian, quiet by nature, and I was drawn to his confidence, his stories of client meetings, and late-night strategy sessions. We started dating, spending weekends at the lake, him telling me about his stressful job, while I planned book events at the library. I thought we were building something real. We moved in together last spring, into a small apartment with creaky wood floors and windows that overlooked Jasper's downtown. A few shops, a diner, the courthouse clock ticking in the distance. Ryan would come home in a suit, loosening his tie, talking about presentations and deadlines. I'd listen, proud, making him coffee as he typed on his laptop. He'd show me emails from his boss, praising his work, and I believed every word. I even helped him with pitches, proofreading slides late at night, the candlelight soft on our kitchen table. He'd kiss my forehead, call me his rock, and I felt like we were a team, dreaming of a house, maybe a family someday. But by summer, cracks started to show. Ryan's stories got vague. Fewer details about clients, more excuses about working from home. He'd leave early, saying he had meetings, but come back smelling like coffee shops, not offices. His phone was always buzzing, and he'd angle it away when I was near. I'd ask, and he'd snap. Just work stuff, Sophie. Chill. I tried to trust him, but doubt crept in like the fog that rolled over Jasper in October. Then, one night, I got my proof. Ryan was in the shower, his laptop open on the couch, and an email notification popped up. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. It was from a temp agency, not his firm, asking why he'd missed a shift at a call center. My heart sank, the candle's flame flickering in the quiet room. I scrolled back, months of emails showing he was a temp, not an exec, filling in at warehouses, offices, even a retail store. No marketing campaigns, no big clients, just lies. I sat there, the apartment dark except for the candle's glow, the fog thick outside. My hands shook as I copied the emails to my phone. Ryan came out, towel around his waist, and smiled like nothing was wrong. "You okay, babe?" he asked. I nodded, my throat tight, and said, "Just tired." But inside, I was breaking. He'd lied about his job, his life, making me believe in a future that didn't exist. I spent that night on the couch, pretending to sleep, the fog pressing against the windows. The hurt was raw, but it was turning to something else. Anger, sharp and clear. He thought he could fool me, live in my apartment, eat my food, while pretending to be someone he wasn't. I wasn't going to let him. I didn't confront him right away. I needed proof, a plan, something that wouldn't just end in a fight. The next day, I went to the library, the smell of old books grounding me, and dug deeper. I found Ryan's LinkedIn, barely updated, listing a marketing consultant role at a company that didn't exist when I searched it. I checked his emails again, using his laptop while he was at work. More temp agency messages, plus one from his actual boss at the call center, a guy named Mark, warning him about tardiness. I saved everything. My hand's steady now. I remembered Ryan bragging about his firm to our friends, how he'd charmed my co-workers at a library fundraiser, all while lying. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was public. And that's when I knew I'd expose him where it mattered, to his real boss, and let the truth do the rest. I called my friend Claire, a paralegal who'd helped me with a contract once. We met at the diner. The windows steamed from the October chill, the smell of coffee and bacon in the air. I showed her the emails, the LinkedIn lies. "Can I tell his boss?" I asked. She nodded, stirring her coffee. "It's legal if you're truthful and don't share private info. Just stick to what you know." His job claims, the temp work. She helped me draft an email to Mark. Professional but direct. Attaching the temp agency emails and Ryan's fake LinkedIn profile. I didn't send it yet. I went home, the fog thicker now, the courthouse clock glowing faintly. I sat at our kitchen table, the candle burning low, and finalized the email. Ryan thought he could lie and keep his charade going. I was about to show him that truth has a way of catching up, and I'd do it my way. Calm, legal, and sharp. And that October morning in Jasper, Indiana, I woke up with a fire in my chest I hadn't felt before. The fog was thick outside our apartment, curling around the streetlights, the air heavy with the smell of damp leaves. I sat at our kitchen table. The candle from last night burned low. My laptop opened to the email I'd drafted for Ryan's boss, Mark. It laid out everything. Ryan's lies about being a marketing exec. The temp agency emails, proving he was just a call center worker. His fake LinkedIn profile. I hadn't sent it yet, but my fingers hovered over the keyboard, my heart pounding. Ryan thought he could fool me, fool everyone, and live in my apartment like nothing was wrong. I was done being his fool, and I was ready to let the truth burn him, legally, in our small town, where lies don't stay hidden long. I spent the morning double-checking my plan. I called Claire again, meeting her at the library where I work. The shelves of books, a quiet comfort against the storm in my head. The windows were fogged, the October light soft and grey. I showed her the email, my hands steady now. "It's factual, professional," she said, adjusting her glasses. "You're not slandering him, just sharing what you found. Send it from an anonymous account if you want to keep your name out of it." I nodded, grateful for her calm advice. Back home, I set up a throwaway email address, jaspertruth@agmail.com, and copied the message there. I attached the temp agency emails, a screenshot of Ryan's LinkedIn, and a photo from a library fundraiser where he'd bragged about his executive job to my co-workers. Every piece was a nail in the coffin of his lies. Ryan came home that afternoon, his suit wrinkled, his glasses foggy from the cold. He dropped his bag on the couch, the apartment smelling like coffee and his cologne, and gave me that same fake smile. "Tough day at the office," he said, like he was still the big shot he'd pretended to be. I looked at him, my heart tight, and said, "Yeah, must be exhausting." He didn't catch the edge in my voice, just grabbed a beer from the fridge and started scrolling his phone. I sat at the table, the candle's faint glow flickering, and hit send on the email to Mark. My pulse raced, but I felt a strange calm, like the fog settling outside. The email was gone, out in the world, and there was no going back. The next day, I went to work at the library, the air crisp, the town square bustling with people heading to the diner or the courthouse. My phone stayed quiet, but I kept checking it, expecting something, anything. That evening, Ryan came home early, his face pale, his tie loose. He didn't look at me, just paced the living room, muttering about Some mix-up at work. I sat on the couch, pretending to read a book, my heart pounding. Everything okay? I asked, keeping my voice soft. He snapped, It's fine, Sophie. Just work stuff. But I saw the sweat on his forehead, the way his hands shook. Mark must have gotten the email, and Ryan knew something was up. I didn't say anything, just watched him unravel, the fog outside pressing against the windows, like it was holding my secret. By the next morning, things moved fast. I was shelving books at the library when Claire texted me, Check Ryan's LinkedIn. I pulled it up on my phone. The library quiet, except for the hum of the heater. His profile was gone, deleted overnight. I checked his work email, still accessible on his laptop, which he'd left open. There was a message from Mark, short and sharp. We need to discuss your employment history. Meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. My stomach flipped, but I felt a spark of something new. Control, maybe, or justice. Ryan's lies were catching up to him, and I hadn't even needed to show my face. That night, Ryan was a mess. He came home late, his suit jacket slung over his shoulder, his glasses smudged. The apartment was dark, the candle unlit, the only light from the streetlights filtering through the fog. Sophie, he said, his voice low. Did you tell someone about my job? I looked at him, my heart steady now. What do you mean? I asked, playing dumb. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing again. Someone emailed my boss, said I lied about my role. It's all screwed up now. I set my book down, meeting his eyes. Maybe it's time to stop lying, Ryan. About your job, about everything. His face went red, then pale, and he didn't say another word. He grabbed his laptop and shut himself in the bedroom, the door clicking shut like a confession. I didn't sleep much that night, the fog thicker than ever, the courthouse clock chiming faintly in the distance. Part of me felt guilty. Had I pushed too far? But then I remembered his stories, his fake emails, the way he'd let me believe in a future that wasn't real. He'd lied to my friends, my co-workers, made me look like an idiot for trusting him. This wasn't about cruelty. It was about truth, about making him face what he'd done. I checked my throwaway email. No reply from Mark yet, but I knew the meeting was coming. Ryan's charade was crumbling, and I was the one holding the hammer. The next day, I went to the diner for coffee. The windows steamed, the smell of pancakes and bacon grounding me. Claire met me there, her eyes bright. Heard from a friend at the call center, she whispered. Ryan's in hot water. They're auditing his hours, checking his claims. I stirred my coffee, the mug warm in my hands, and felt the anger shift to something else. Determination, maybe even satisfaction. Ryan's lies were out, and I hadn't needed to shout or fight. I'd done it quietly, legally, with an email that spoke louder than I ever could. But it wasn't over yet. I needed to see how this played out, to know if Mark would act, if Ryan would finally face the consequences in our small town where trust is everything. And that foggy October week in Jasper, Indiana, felt like the world was holding its breath, waiting for the truth to land. The air was thick with the smell of damp leaves, the courthouse clock glowing faintly through the haze outside my apartment. I'd sent the email to Ryan's boss, Mark, spilling everything. His fake marketing exec story, the temp agency emails, his lies to everyone, including me. Ryan was falling apart, his LinkedIn gone, his meeting with Mark looming. And I was ready to see how my quiet legal move would play out in our small town where trust is currency. This is the end of my story, where I found justice, not with anger, but with the truth, and took back my life from his lies. The morning of Ryan's meeting, I woke early, the apartment quiet, except for the creak of the wood floors. I made coffee, the steam rising in the grey light, and checked my throwaway email, jaspertruthagmail.com. No reply from Mark, but I didn't expect one. Ryan left without a word. his suit wrinkled, his glasses smudged, his bag slung over his shoulder like he was carrying the weight of his own deception. I watched him through the window, disappearing into the fog, and felt a strange calm. I didn't need to be in that meeting to know the truth was working its way through, sharp and unstoppable, like the Indiana wind cutting through the trees. I went to the library, my safe haven, the shelves of books steadying me as I shelved returns. Around noon, Claire texted, "Call center gossip, Ryan's out." My heart skipped, but I didn't reply, just kept shelving, the smell of old paper grounding me. I checked his work email later, still open on his laptop. He hadn't logged out. There was a termination notice from Mark. Due to discrepancies in your employment history, your contract is ended effective immediately. My hands shook, not with guilt, but with a rush of something new. Satisfaction maybe, or relief. Ryan's lies had cost him his job, and I'd done it without a fight. Just an email that told the truth. When Ryan came home that evening, the fog thicker now, the apartment was dark, except for the flicker of a new candle I'd lit. He dropped his bag, his face pale, eyes avoiding mine. "I got fired," he said, his voice flat, like he was confessing to a stranger. I sat on the couch, my book in my lap, and looked at him. "What happened?" I asked, keeping my tone even, though my pulse was racing. He paced, his shoes scuffing the floor. "Someone sent my boss proof I lied about my experience. They audited my hours. Found out I'd faked my resume." He looked at me, searching for sympathy, but I just nodded. "Sounds like the truth caught up, Ryan." He froze, his eyes narrowing. "Was it you, Sophie?" I didn't flinch. "You lied to me for months, to my friends, my co-workers. You made me believe in a life that wasn't real. Whoever sent that email just told the truth." He didn't argue, just grabbed his coat and left, the door slamming, the candle's flame wavering in the quiet. Word spread fast in Jasper. By the next day, the diner was buzzing. People whispering over coffee about that guy who faked his job. My co-worker at the library, Jen, pulled me aside, her eyes wide. "Did you hear? Ryan got canned for lying." I smiled, shelving a book, the fog outside softening the light. "Yeah, I heard." I didn't say more, but the town knew. Friends, neighbors, even the brewery bartender who'd heard Ryan's executive stories. His reputation was shot, his charm worthless now. I checked his socials. His Instagram was private, his posts gone, his lies exposed, not just to Mark, but to everyone who'd believed him. Ryan moved out 2 days later. I came home from work to find his stuff gone. His suits, his laptop, his coffee mug. He left a note on the kitchen table. "I'm sorry, Sophie. I messed up." I read it, the candlelight soft on the paper, and tossed it in the trash. Sorry didn't undo the months of lies, the way he'd made me feel small, foolish, for trusting him. I walked to the window, the fog lifting, the courthouse clock glowing clearer now. The apartment felt lighter, like I'd reclaimed it, just like I'd reclaimed my truth. I went to the brewery that weekend. The air crisp, the lake breeze carrying the last of autumn's leaves. Friends rallied around me, buying me beers, laughing about Ryan's fall. "You're a legend, Sophie," the bartender said, sliding me a stout. I shook my head, smiling. "Not a legend, just done with lies." I heard Ryan move to Evansville, trying to start over, but Jasper's gossip followed him. Clients he'd pitched to, co-workers he'd bragged to, all knew the truth. His marketing exec story was dead, and I didn't need to say a word to make it happen. Life in Jasper settled back to normal. I kept working at the library, the books my steady companions, the fog giving way to clear October skies. I started hosting book clubs again, laughing with co-workers, feeling like myself for the first time in months. I even went on a date. A quiet guy from the brewery. No fake stories, just a warm smile. Ryan's lies taught me something. Trust is precious, and so is the truth. I'm not proud of exposing him, but I don't regret it. He thought he could lie, charm his way through, and leave me holding the pieces. I showed him the truth has a way of winning, and I did it my way. Calm, legal, and sharp. I'm 28 now, still in my cozy apartment, still shelving books in Jasper, where the fog rolls in and the courthouse clock keeps time. If someone betrays you, don't let them rewrite your story. Fight back with the truth, steady and smart. Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.